At the start of the pandemic, I was reasonably healthy, taking for granted being able to do normal things, visit my mum in her nursing home, spend time with my kids, go to the football. My weekly knitting group was a godsend, and there was a lot of different ages of women there that I really enjoyed socialising with. The next thing we knew, we were in lockdown, and I really believed what everybody said, that it would only last about 3 weeks and then we would be able to pick up the reins of our life again. Unfortunately, this seemed to go on forever. I think we all felt very isolated, and for the first time in my life I never seen my mum at Christmas, or I couldn't visit her in her nursing home, and her being 99 years old and very frail, it was really worrying. Also, I miss my knitting group and friends. So Lynn and Linda, members of our group, decided to have a WhatsApp group for us, where we started texting. It started in a small way and grew and grew. Then we had Zoom meetings once a week when we should have been into the knitting. We all decided that this would not be the end of our group. We were scared that by the time the pandemic was over, there would be no knitting group. So we started our projects again. We did extenders for the nurses, and a few of our members knitted hero bears and rainbows. People would give them orders, and then they would go and they would knit them, and the people would donate money to the NHS. We actually made quite a bit of money this way. On a personal level, I felt if it wasn't for the knitting group WhatsApp and still being able to see my kids, I would have been very depressed. Being able to pick up the phone and share with all the funny things and the troubling things that were happening really was a godsend. A lot of the knitting group live on their own, and this meant that they had contact with other people, and we ended up really appreciating if anything went wrong with them. We would text if they hadn't signed in that day, and then we would find out if there was anything wrong. Slowly lockdown eased, but there was still things that we couldn't do. For example, my son was still working from home. He began to get really panicky. He wouldn't let me in his room. He was washing his hands 500 times a day, and for 1.5 years he didn't go out the house. He lost 8 stone in weight, and we were really very worried about him. His sister was buying him things like vitamin D because he was getting no sun and whatnot. Eventually it eased off, and thank God he got back to near normal. When it eased up a bit, we'd started meeting up a wee bit in people's gardens. We would have garden parties, we all dressed up with our fancy hats and clothes, just to do something funny. We also, during the lockdown, Meg, one of our members, had a 60th birthday party. Unbeknownst to her, we went down and decorated our house with banners, balloons. Then we all went back down later with our present and sung happy birthday in our garden to her. It really made us feel as if we were still part of something. Also during the lockdown, I had a 40th wedding anniversary, which I was doing a Zoom call with the girls, showing them what rings I was picking from, a ruby ring I wanted and whatnot. So they all voted on what one I should pick and everything. So it did make up for the fact that we weren't being able to do anything during the anniversary. There was various things like this that we did that were really, it was appreciated. Also, I started to see my mum again. We had to do it in an outside garden with a table 2 metres long, and she's deaf anyway, so that was a bit of a trial, but at least I could see her and see she was still her usual self, which was a blessing. And because of that, I started taking videos and singing her hymns and things like that on my phone. And I really am happy I did this, because she died earlier this year. when she was 100 years old. She also had a birthday party that obviously I was the only one allowed in, but I recorded it for the girls and they all sent presents to her and she had her cake, so it was good. The girls in the home that made it as good for her as it possibly could be. When everybody started getting vaccinated, we were now free to resume a kind of normal life. The library's now open and we are back to having our knitting group face to face. We have our coffee mornings on a Tuesday. And I really think that we are closer than we ever have been. Every one of the girls is a really good friend. Now, it could have ended up that the knitting group got abandoned because we weren't in touch. But as I say, the opposite happened and we're now as close can be. Now, the sad thing is, we lost a couple of older members and we went to their funerals during lockdown. Everyday things are really a godsend when you are not able to do them. And I think we appreciate life more, and especially each another, and how we really need each another to get through things like this.